In this video, you're going to see how to smoke a pork butt the famous Dave's way. Although the process of smoking a pork butt can be time consuming, it is well worth the effort. The end result is tender, juicy pieces of meat that will have your taste buds singing with joy. Hey everyone, my name is David. I'm a barbecue fanatic and pit boss of Machete Boys Barbecue. I've been cooking pork butts for years, but in this video, I'm going to show you how to cook a pork butt the famous Dave's way. In the cookbook, Famous Dave's Party Cookbook, you'll find the complete recipe. I'll put a link to the book in the description. Right away in this cookbook, Dave Anderson talks about the importance of brand name ingredients. I tend to agree with him that selecting the right brand is as important as finding the right blend of spices. All this is to say is to be sure that you're using quality ingredients in your recipes if you want to have the best results. I was able to find almost all the ingredients at my local grocery store. However, there were a few instances where I needed to leverage Amazon, particularly to find some of the hickory salts that were needed to make the rubs.
Famous Dave calls this the Jimmy's Old Southern Pork Butt Rub. When I think of barbecue pork styles, there are three that come to mind: Memphis, KC style, and Carolina. This barbecue rub is definitely a blend of KC and Memphis. It has an appropriate amount of sweetness and a slap of heat and a touch of smoke from the smoked hickory salt. We also have to mix together Dave's Special Blend steak seasoning, which primarily is Famous Dave's steak and burger seasoning, jazzed up with a few extra ingredients. I actually really like this, and I think that I might try it on a brisket one day. But it's got an adequate savory element and a touch of smoke that would complement any cut of beef. Then we get down to the pork butt marinade. And I tend to agree with Dave here. Injecting a pork butt is a great way to add flavor and moisture to the meat. By injecting the meat with a marinade or a broth, you're able to make flavor inside the meat as well as keep it moist. Dave's own butt juice marinade is a lot of apple juice and salt. I was on the fence about the addition of liquid smoke, but I put it in anyway because it was optional. But you know, we really want to do it as Dave would do it.
The best pork butts tend to come from the shoulder of the hog. They are usually about 8 to 10 pounds and have nice marbling and fat content throughout the meat. When selecting the pork butt, make sure that it's bone-in and has a nice layer of fat on the outside. The fat will help keep the meat moist during the cooking process.
Alright, so then it's just time to get your pork butt prepped here. First, you want to begin by injecting the marinade, and I did this in a 1-inch pattern across the top of the pork butt. After you've injected the pork butt, flip it over and score that fat with a knife in a crosshatch pattern. The next step is slather mustard all over the butt. Personally, I don't think we need a binder. It doesn't really add much in terms of flavor, and having just previously injected the butt, I think there's enough moisture that all the coming layers of flavor would adhere to without the addition of mustard. Alright, so this is definitely a step I've never done. The first thing we're going to do after we got that mustard down is to cover it with dark brown sugar. And dark brown sugar is just regular light brown sugar that's had molasses added to it. This is really going to make things sweet. And then you cover the brown sugar with the pork butt rub that we've made. Now once you've got that down, just flip it over and repeat the process on top. Except for this time, the last thing you want to do is sprinkle a little bit of raw sugar over the butt rub. And I'm cooking this today on a Weber kettle over indirect heat. The target temp for this cook is 225 at the grate. Dave suggested in the book you could try apple or cherry. I'm only using a few chunks of hickory and a chunk or two of cherry. We're starting fat side down to help keep the marinade from oozing out. Once you get your butt on, spritz every hour. Dave proclaims this will help to build the bark. We'll see what happens. There's a ton of apple juice and apple juice concentrate mixed up in the spritzer. I guess I could see all of that juice caramelizing and building that prized sugar cookie bark, but I think that's more of an effect of the application of the sugar before the barbecue rubs. At about the 6-hour mark here, you want to sprinkle raw sugar over the entire butt and flip it over. Also apply raw sugar to the fat cap side. Again, we're trying to build that sugar cookie bark. Now's a good time to insert a probe into your pork butt if you've got one, because we're going to be cooking this until an internal temp of 200 degrees. Once your pork butts reach 200 degrees, it's time to pull it off and let it rest. This will allow all of the meat juices to redistribute in the pork butt, rather than just flowing out as soon as you start pulling it. For resting, just put your cooked butt in an empty insulated cooler and allow it to rest for about an hour.
Be sure to subscribe to Machete Boys Barbecue. You won't be disappointed. I hope you'll give this recipe a try and enjoy the amazing flavors of smoked pork at home. If you do, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Next up, Jimmy's Old Southern Pulled Pork Sandwich.